Hello, boys and girls. It's Miss Moellers. I hope you are all still staying healthy and safe. I have a book that I want to read to you today about a little dog and another animal. So how many of you have pets? I have 2 pets in our yard, and they really get along very well together. So let's read the book called Some Dog by Mary Casanova, pictures by Ard Hoyt, and see if the animals in this book get along together. George had a good life. When the woman read the newspaper, George had a place to rest his weary head. When the man chopped wood, George studied 1,000 cents on the wind. And when they went fishing, George, who couldn't swim, rode in the middle, steady and still. "You're some dog," said the woman. "Some dog," said the man. But that day, another dog arrived. Everything changed. "He must be a stray," said the woman. "Looks like he's here to stay," said the man. "Waroo!" cried George. "Waroo, roo, roo, roo!" Like a jackrabbit, the stray leaped back and forth. Ya yippity, yappity, yip, yip, yip. Then he zipped around the room 3 times. Ya yippity, yappity, yip, yip, yip. "What a lovely dog," said the woman. "Let's call him Zippity," said the man. Now, when the newspaper arrived, Zippity snatched it, flew over the couch, and dropped it at the woman's feet. "Good dog." And when the man chopped wood, Zippity backflipped and caught sticks in midair. Amazing! When the man and the woman biked to the corner store, Zippity ran ahead with the groceries on the list. By the time they arrived, the shop owner had the groceries packed up and ready to go. What a dog! And when they all went fishing, Zippity jumped from George's back, from lap to lap, until he dove, caught a fish, and swam to shore. That Zippity is some dog. Ya yippity, yippity, zip, yip, yip, yip. That night at dinner, George was too tired to beg for food. At bedtime, he was exhausted, but Zippity snored, zeep, 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 in his sleep. One day, George smelled rain on the wind. Before long, thunder grumbled. It boom, boom, clanged, and rumbled. George didn't mind. But with each clap of thunder, Zippity raced in crazy circles. He plinked, he chewed, he dashed, and crashed until finally, out! Rain pounded down, wind shook the treetops, then boom, a crack, clang. Zippity was gone. "He'll get lost. It's a terrible storm." But George thumped his tail. At last, he'd have his bed all to himself. "George," begged the woman, "go find Zippity." George stretched and groaned. "Come on, George," the man pleaded. "Here, George," the woman said, "smell this." George studied Zippity's blanket. If there was one thing George could do, it was follow a smell. Through whipping wind and needle rain, George led the way. Nose to the ground, he sniffed and whiffed, snorted and twitched. He smelled 1,000 scents, but followed only one. Past a farmhouse in shambles, a clothesline, and thorny brambles, George tracked the scent. When the man and the woman turned back, George pressed on, following his nose. Up steep steps and down he went to the top of a seesaw, to the ground again, along a slippery rail, over a rotted pine, down along the valley, through the swampy, murky mire. George kept going until his nose led him to a shivery, shaking, wet, and quaking Zippity, stuck in the thick, oozy muck right down here. Zippity whimpered, Zippity whined. He twisted and turned, he wiggled and churned. But the harder he tried to reach the bank, the deeper and deeper and deeper he sank. "Waroo!" George cried. "Waroo, roo, roo, roo!" Then George stretched himself across a log. He grabbed Zippity's collar and held fast. Slow and steady, steady and slow, George tugged and pulled, pulled and tugged until out Zippity popped. "Ya yippity, yappity, yip, yip, yip." The dogs touched noses, then George led the way. He sniffed and whiffed, snorted and twitched, following the trail through the swampy, murky mire, over a rotted pond, down a slippery slide, until... "It's Zippity," they cried. "You found him! Oh, George, you're some dog," said the man. "Our dog," said the woman. From that day on, George and Zippity got along just fine. George always had a place to rest his weary head. Every day he studied 1,000 cents in the wind, and when they all went fishing, George rode in the middle, steady and still. And most nights, George didn't mind sharing zeep, 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 even in his sleep. I hope that you enjoyed the book. Please remember, make sure that you're helping your parents every day by pitching in around the house. They will really, really appreciate it. Also, make sure that you're taking care of your pets like the pets in this book. Bye for now.